We are looking at enhancing the secret messages project from the Vybyte Python curriculum available at www.vybyte.in. Previously, we have looked at a scheme where we write letters row wise and then read them out column wise. So basically, for example, PYTHON space I read them column by column. However, a natural question that comes up is why must I read these columns in exactly this order? In fact, I can extend the scheme further, and what I can say is that I'll read these columns out in the order specified in a vector in a list called key. So this key, for example, is 2013. So I'm going to read out the first column, the column, column one first, which is at 0. So I go and say, okay, look, I'm going to read this first, then this, then this, and then this. And basically, this adds another degree of, let's say, scrambling to the message and makes it even more interesting. Let's look at one more example to make this more clear. Let's say, we have n equals to 5. So like I said, I write this in row by row order. But now I have a key. It tells me that, well, this column has a 0. So I go and read out this column first. Then I go and read out, let's say, this column. Then I go and read out, let's say, this column, and so on and so forth. Now, clearly, the order is given in the key, but the key were, for example, in this case, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then nothing changes. I'll just read 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be back to wherever I was. So which means that this scheme that we are looking at now is a more general, method, is a more general, let's say, representation of the transpose scheme. Turns out, however, that the code is in fact just a very small change from the code that we had earlier. And the reason for this is really very clear because, we are doing the same exact slices. For example, if n was 4, we are doing the exact same slices. For example, message 004, message 1 colon 4, message 2 colon 4, and so on and so forth. Each of these has a message of length, message by has a length of message by 4. Now, all we need really is that we need to put them out in a specific order, which is given by this list key. And the way I do that is in fact just a small little change on this. Instead of iterating from kk going from 0, 1, 2, say all the way to n minus 1, I will create, I will have one more input called the key. This key will contain the order that I want to read out the messages in, and I will just look at for kk in key. So which means, for example, if it's 2130, I first go and put kk of 2, then I put kk of 1, then I put kk of 3, and I put kk of 0, and you can see that the different slices will accordingly get ordered. So let's see this in code. It's quite interesting. So what I'll do, like I said, I'm just going to take my code for, say, transposing, and I'll generalize this a little bit. So I just say, okay, let me just take this code as it is, and I come in here and I say, look, let's just put it again and say, call it transpose, say, general. Now remember, I need to have an input called the key. And also here, instead of saying 0 range of n, which is 0 to n minus 1, which is kind of like a very specific key, I just say for kk in key. Now that's really all I need. Now first, let's just make sure it's all working correctly. Let's say I said key is equal to, say, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now because I'm dealing with n equals to 4, remember. Now if I put 0, key of 0, 1, 2, 3, in fact, I expect the function to behave exactly like the transpose. So if I say, for example, if I say transpose, say, general x, say, n, and key, let's just run this thing. So when I run this, I get, for example, x of t is whatever, x t gen is exactly the same because remember the key is 0, 1, 2, 3. But let's say I go and say key is going to be 2, 0, say 1, 3. Let's just say anything, right? So if I do this now, I expect the 2 to have become different. X of t is whatever it is. Now if I look at xt gen, notice it is now different. And if you see this carefully, basically the slices have been moved, that the chunks have been moved around. So you're seeing the same kind of chunks, but they are just in a different order because the columns have been read out differently. In other words, the chunks have been ordered differently. Now we'll see in the next video how we can decode this. But I hope you found this interesting. In general, if you find that this way of learning programming is interesting to you, look at our website, vybyte.in, because there are a lot of such activities. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.